News Rants, a podcast about news stories that could get a bit ranty. All views expressed on News Rants are those of myself and any contributors. Hello and welcome to, I believe this is the 8th edition of News Rants, a podcast where I take a news story and, well, potentially rant about it. It could get a bit sweary as well. So, if any of the ones that are sweary, I'll obviously flag as explicit, so, I've actually said some swear words in it. So, this one is on Easter Monday. This one has been recorded. So, the day before this would have been Easter Sunday, and obviously, leaders of different branches of the Christian Church would have been given Easter Sunday sermons, including the leader of the Church of England, Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby. Now, here's the issue. Archbishop Welby has took it upon himself to basically say that the plan for sending the illegal immigrants to Rwanda is against the grace of God and is ungodly and things like that. And, why bring politics into an Easter Sunday sermon? Why has he done that? What gives him the right to preach about politics as though it's the teachings of Jesus and God? It's his own opinion and he should keep it out of the church. He is basically not a politician. He does have a seat in the House of Lords, though, which he has a de facto House of Lords seat because he's an archbishop. He's the Archbishop of Canterbury. And I don't think they should really be in there anyway, but unfortunately that's just the way it is. He shouldn't be getting involved with anything political, and he should not be spouting it during his sermons. He does have form for this. He got involved with Brexit as well, I believe, and I've heard today on the radio, I can't confirm whether this is true or not, but I have heard on the radio that he apparently referred to Nigel Farage as the devil because of Brexit. I can't confirm whether that's true or not, but that's something I heard on the radio. So, that's unconfirmed. I'm going to say that now. But the fact of the matter that he got involved with the Rwanda plan is just ridiculous. He's basically spouting the same thing that's coming from the left and the Labour Party. And he seems to think that God would approve of it if it didn't happen. Is God a lefty? Does God read the Guardian newspaper? Does God live in Islington? The answer to all of them is no. This is not anything to do with the Church of England. This is more to do with the politicians at the House of Commons and the Home Office who have drawn up this plan, and Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister. This is nothing to do with the leader of the Church of England. Why do you think it's something you should get involved with, Your Holiness, or Your Grace, or whatever you like to be called? Because, to be honest, I would just call you the most stupidest head of a state religion that has ever been. Not understanding that politics do not belong in the church, just as religion does not belong in the House of Commons. Are we clear on that, Justin? Because I don't like you. I think you are a disgrace to the Church of England. And I think you're the reason why the Church of England is failing. If you want to get people on pews in churches, well, you know what to do. Stop putting politics into the church. I'd go Catholic if I was already Church of England, which I don't know what I was baptised as because I never followed that up, because I don't bother going into a church these days. Unless it's for weddings and funerals and other baptisms. Obviously not my own, because that obviously happened when I was young. So, Why would the leader of the Church of England think that it's acceptable to put politics into an Easter Sunday sermon? The leader of the Catholic Church, the Pope, he didn't bring politics into it. Did he? I can't comment on the churches in Scotland and Wales, because I don't think they would have brought anything into it. I don't get what Justin Welby is doing. Why he thinks politics in the church is going to up the numbers. I would happily walk into Canterbury Cathedral if he or wherever he does his sermons. He might actually do them in Westminster Cathedral. I don't actually know where he does them. I just know that he's just being absolutely stupid by bringing politics into the church. If I want to go into a church, I don't want to hear politics. The only place I want to hear politics is in news bulletins, on the TV, but I don't at the moment because I don't have a TV licence, because I won't pay the BBC anything. That's for a different day. And I just listen to the radio. I don't read newspapers, because I just don't have the time to do it. Although I might read the odd online newspaper. So that's where I want to hear my politics. Radio, newspapers, and when I do have a TV licence, television. Not from the Christian Church. Especially not the Church of England. Which seems to be the only branch of the Christian Church that seems to be bringing politics into the equation. So, Mr. Wokeby, as some people call you, because you do seem to be really into that kind of thing as well. I don't know why. Keep the politics out of the church. I won't repeat that again. But what I will say is that I'm not really inclined to go into a church so long as that's going on. Unless it's a Catholic church, which seems fine. But I'm not Catholic. I might convert to Catholicism, but I'd rather not. In fact, I don't even know what I was baptised as. But I don't care too much about that, because I'm not really dealing with the church right now. Because it's not something I do. I'm not a religious man. Anyway, I've ranted enough about Archbishop of Canterbury Justin Welby, because I'm pretty sure you all know what he's done, and I'm pretty sure those on the left are probably like, yay, the Archbishop of Canterbury agrees with us. And those of us on the more sensible side of the fence are like, what the hell is this man doing? You know. Again, what was he doing? I don't know. But it's all over the news today. It's one of the big stories in the news today. On Easter Monday, 18th of April, 2022. That's when this is recorded. So, right. I don't quite understand at all. I have no clue as to what has possessed Justin Welby to do this. I've calmed down a bit now, so I'm less ranty. So, you've been listening to, I believe this is the 8th News Rants, I'm sure. Just had to think about that. And this one was about Archbishop of Canterbury Justin Welby criticising the Rwanda plan of the government in his Easter Sunday sermon, which is something I strongly disapprove of him doing. And I won't be going into any Church of England church anytime soon. So, you can catch News Rants on Spotify, Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. You can catch us in Vision on YouTube. And you can follow us on Twitter at NewsRants2022. And you can also buy me a coffee. You'll find the link to the Buy Me a Coffee in the description of the podcast. And you will also find it in the show notes below. I'll make sure it's in there so you can find it. And you can buy me a coffee to keep me ranting, because I do like my coffee. Although at the time of recording this, it's nearly 9 o'clock at night. And I don't drink coffee beyond 5 o'clock usually. Maybe 6 o'clock at a push. Depends on if I need to keep myself awake longer. So, yeah, you can do that as well. You can buy me a coffee. Keeps the rants coming. So, there'll hopefully be another news rants coming soon. It's going to be a bit of a busy week for me this week because the end of the week I'm going to be away in Blackpool, so there may not be news rants that forthcoming, but there will definitely be more news rants when I come back. Might even have a bumper edition. I don't know yet. It depends on what's going on the rest of this week and also next week. Depends what's in the news because at the moment it's more or less repetitive. So, I'll catch you in the next news rants. And until then, you take care of yourselves. And don't forget, you can catch up on previous episodes as well as, and you can subscribe to the podcast on the podcasting feeds, either on Spotify, Apple, or Google, or the channel on YouTube, or any combination of those. So, I'll catch you in the next news rants. Until the next one.